Hey everybody, welcome back for another day of Coach Basics training. So today I want to talk to you about the importance of the follow-up. And I did already briefly mention this in inviting and the importance of following up, but I just want to dive in a little bit deeper for you and hopefully with a much shorter video than I have been doing in the training so far. So the follow-up is really, really important. I don't know that anyone has ever really had a sale the very first conversation, the very first time that someone was just like, okay, I'm ready. And they immediately filled out the form and enrolled. So we have all different kinds of follow-ups. So sometimes somebody, tells you that they are going to purchase right away and you send them the form and then you notice it doesn't come through and the next day it doesn't come through and the next day it doesn't come through. So that's when you want to follow up with them. Sometimes you're going to ask somebody, somebody's going to reach out to you that they're interested or they're going to like one of your posts and you're going to, follow up with them and said, hey girl, I saw that you liked my post about my new challenge group. And I was just wondering if you were interested in hearing more information about it. It can be that simple. I have learned that the follow-up is key to everything I do. So sometimes, you'll say in a post, it's a challenge group advertisement and you'll tell someone to comment below for more information or if they're interested. And, only a couple people will comment, but maybe 14 people like it. And maybe 12 of those people are coaches, but you'll notice that 2 or 3 of those people are not. And, maybe they're interested. Well, for a while, I didn't reach out to somebody that just liked something because I felt like I was being pushy or salesy. And I wish I would have because I then, when I had heard that I should do that, I tried to reach out. And one of the my great challengers that I have reconnected with a girl from high school had simply liked a post that I made about size. And I chatted with her and she had a really big need and a really big why. And she's getting ready for her wedding. And long story short, she was ready to go. Like she was ordered within like 24 hours. And I never would have known that if I never reached out. So do you really want to risk, customers, that people that you can help, people who need this, just because you don't want to be, pushy. And so I'm not telling you to be pushy, but sometimes you got to get that out of your own head and just think like, no, I'm here to help people. So, let me try to do that. Let me reach out and see. There's nothing, you'll never ask if you don't know, and you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So ask. And if somebody doesn't answer, then okay. Or if they, respond and say they're not interested, that's okay too. But you just want to be thorough. And not risk losing somebody that is just interested. So I follow up with everybody about everything. And it's really important to track these things. So let's say you send, you have a challenge group message and somebody comments that they're interested. And then you shoot them a message and they're like, yes, I would love to hear more. And you're like, okay, well, it would help me get to know you better if I ask you a few questions about where you are right now in your health and fitness journey. Would that be okay? And they say, yeah. And you send them these, engagement questions that you can find in the back office or in our scripts about, where they are in their health and fitness journey right now. If they have any goals, what unique obstacles they feel like they have, what their nutrition is like, what their energy is like, how many times they've started and stopped something in the past, like what they feel like really stood in the way. So when you ask those kind of questions, you get to know them better. Then you can better find them a program. You just want to know if they have a need, if this will be right for them, which program will be right for them, if the shake is something that they need, all that stuff, the accountability of a group. So that will help you and help you help them. So sometimes though, you'll ask somebody if they can ask you the questions and they'll answer the questions and then you'll message them back. That sounds great. Well, based on that, I think these would be the best programs for you. And you send that and say, look over these videos and the information and let me know when you're all done if you have any questions and which one you think will be best for you. And then maybe you just hear nothing back. So you're like, when do I follow up? Like that's a common new coach question is when do I follow up? Well, it depends on the situation. So basically, you follow up with somebody typically as a good rule of thumb, as I do, within like 1 to 3 days. So if I've, saw somebody that liked something, like a post, they just liked it and I shot them a message and I said, hey, I saw that you liked my post about my challenge group coming up. Are you interested in being in it? And then I don't hear anything back. I'm probably going to let that one go because it was just a like. I don't actually know if they were really interested. They might have just been scrolling through and thought, hey, that's a cool picture or something, or like what she's doing. But, at least I reached out. That's the important thing. However, once somebody has expressed an interest, like they've actually commented, yes, I'd love some more information. And then you reach out to them and you don't hear anything back. A great follow-up to do for somebody like that is like, hey girl, I know that you commented that you were really interested in my challenge group. And I didn't hear back when I reached out to you. But I wanted to just ask one last time to make sure that, you saw the message and, that I got to you because the group is starting on Monday, or, you need to be ordered by Monday or whatever that date is. And I don't want you to be left out if you want to be in on it. So if you're still interested, let me know. Hope you have a great day. That kind of a thing. So you can find your wording for it. But you definitely want to make sure that you do reach out and follow up, because sometimes this is really important to understand. As a coach in our own head, we can be really negative, which is why we need personal development. So it's very easy for us to think, oh, she didn't respond, she's not interested. Moving on. Or, oh gosh, I heard all these crickets. Nobody wants what I have to offer. Like, oh, I don't want to be bothering people. It's in your head that you're bothering people. And it's in your head that, so many times I get a message from somebody and I have a quick second, so I read it, but then my son pulls me away, or, we arrive where we're going and I get out of the car, and later I have new messages and that one, drops down and it's not showing up as new anymore because I've already viewed it, but I completely forgot to respond. It has happened to all of us. So remember, when you're nervous to follow up with somebody, that you don't want to do them a disservice, which is what you'd be doing if you don't check, because this might be somebody who really does need this opportunity in this program, and you don't want to kind of just pass them by just because of your own kind of negative thoughts. So always follow up, and just remember that, how easy it is. And you can even say that in your follow-up, like, hey girl, I know we were talking about you being in my next challenge group. It's going to be starting on Monday. I want to make sure that you don't get left behind if you aren't interested. I know how easy it is nowadays to just kind of get distracted and forget about a message. I do it all the time, where I start a response and never finish it. So I just wanted to make sure, are you still interested? I always try to leave my follow-ups with a question, like, are you still interested? Or does this sound good to you? Or, what flavor of Shakeology, whatever it may be, that I leave it with kind of like a call to action. And that tends to work well. Also, how many times do you follow up is a common question for new coaches. It depends to me, again, on the situation. So if I know somebody, I have had some people share their why with me, share their story, and I know this is the thing for them. This will be the one-stop solution. They've tried everything before, and I want it so bad for them because I know I'm on this end of it and I know it'll work. But I don't always, with somebody like that. So I have a few people like that. And sometimes it takes months for them to come to. And there's still some people that I'm still waiting on. But I still invite them to the challenge group nearly every month. For a while, I do it every month. And if I still don't hear back, I might let it go a couple months, 2, 3 months. And then I'm going to say, reach out. Or I start liking and commenting on their things on their wall again. I get them kind of seeing my stuff and engaging. And then maybe I'll send like an invitation to a challenge group sneak peek or something like that. But there are a couple people that I have continued to follow up with. And I'll tell you that some of them are now coaches for me. Some of them are now really great challengers and regular challengers. So my rule of thumb is I don't ever want to give up on anybody. So if I had enough of their story to know this is for them, I'm going to continue to keep some kind of a relationship. And even if you're not actually sending a follow-up like, hey, are you still interested? I engage on their wall, I comment, I like, hey, happy birthday, congratulations for this and that. Because it's all about building a relationship. So many times people, they just need more than 1 or 2 conversations with you before they're ready to make a decision. And they're watching you on social media. From the first invite that you send out, they are watching you. So if you show that you stay consistent on your end, that is going to do so much for them that, they might just reach out to you and be like, okay, like, I like what you're doing. I'm ready to join you. What do I need to do? It's definitely happened to me. And also, so it's you being consistent. And also remember, as a challenger, right, we're all kind of challengers ourselves. We always talk about the consistency, and that's where the results come from. So if you're consistently inviting and following up, it will happen. But doing one without the other is not nearly as strong, because most of us need to be asked several times. Think about how many times you had to be asked before you joined as a challenger or signed up with Shakeology or started to coach. Can tell you right now, I don't know that any of you did it on the first time. I didn't do it on the first time. That's why it's so important to follow up. Also, listening during the follow-up, as I said before, is really, really important. You want to get to know someone, get to know their story. And you can ask things as simple in the follow-up as, hey, just wanted to reach out, to see if you're ready to jump into the challenge group like we talked about. Or, hey, did you have any questions about the information that I sent? I'm here to help you. Let me know if you do. Because sometimes people do have questions. Or, I was just thinking about you and I wanted to touch base real quick and see how things are going. How are you? It doesn't even have to be about the program. I really like doing that now, rather than, sometimes I feel like if I followed up once or twice, I don't want it to seem like I'm being a pushy salesman. So at that point, sometimes I'll be like, hey girl, I haven't talked to you in a while. I just saw you purchase a new house. Congratulations. That's so exciting. How's everything going? And I can tell you that I just did this about a week ago with somebody who I had used to talk to forever about the programs and products. And all of a sudden, here we are. She just decided today to purchase a challenge pack and join my group. But it started by me kind of just taking Beachbody off the table for a little bit. So sometimes that's something good to do too. So Remember, repetition is key, that consistency on your end, following up after you invite, finding what language works for you, try to end with a question, and if the person has a hesitation or an objection that you know, and then maybe you don't hear from them after that. I always put that into my activity tracker. Like I have my power of threes, and on top of my power of threes, I then take anyone who is actually interested in purchasing a challenge pack and I put them into an Excel spreadsheet for the month of whatever month that is that I'm in. And I make sure that I write down the reason of why they didn't want to order, what their hesitation was. So if it's a time factor and we have a program that comes out like T25, it's only 25-minute workouts or 21-day fix, that's a perfect person when it's coming out to follow up with over that. Or if it's somebody who had a financial concern and then the next month the program goes on sale, that's the perfect time to reach. It gives you a reason to reach back out and to follow up. And sometimes that makes you more comfortable as the coach. And that goes a long way too. So I hope this was really, really helpful. Definitely follow up. If you have any questions or comments, put them below this post. And I will see you back tomorrow for the next day of Coach Basics.